Hey guys! Looks we've got 6 watching now, which seems like a good number to start with. Let me know if you can hear me. Awesome. Oh, it's pretty quiet. Okay. Let me boost the volume a bit. How's that? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get started. So this live stream, as you all know, is about cognitive therapy, which is using a thought record to help deal with depression, anxiety, and negative thinking. So, quick disclaimer, I am not a professional therapist. I am not any kind of expert, and this is definitely not a replacement for actually getting professional help. This is just me sharing what I've learned from attending therapy myself, and hopefully this will just give you a few tips and tricks to help tide you over or to supplement the professional help that you should get if you need it. So most of this information that we're going to go over is from the book Mind Over Mood, Change How You Feel by Changing the Way You Think by Dennis Greenberger and Christine A. Pedesky. And I have the link to that book right below in the description. A quick trigger warning. This live stream will contain discussion of mental illnesses as well as of thoughts that accompany such illness. Some may find these thoughts too relatable or triggering, so the point of this live stream is to help you work through these thoughts and emotions. But I'm not a mental health professional, so I can't guarantee that this will work. And so resources for mental health crises are in the description below. Yeah. Oh, hey, Morgan. Yeah, Katie, I know self-esteem is a very big issue. And so hopefully this will help you. I think it should help. So first, what is cognitive therapy? So from the book, it says cognitive means thought processes as well as knowledge or perception. So cognitive therapists emphasize examination of the thoughts and beliefs connected to our moods, behaviors, physical experiences, and to the events in our lives. A central idea in cognitive therapy is that our perception of an event or experience powerfully affects our emotional, behavioral, and physiological responses to it. So, paraphrasing in my words, cognitive therapy is learning how to look at situations objectively to figure out which negative thoughts are lies or are meaningless and to change your moods and or your actions through analyzing and correcting your thought process. But as my therapist stressed, this is not forcing yourself to think positively or ignoring negative thoughts and feelings. This is a healthy, balanced look at your emotions and thoughts. So, what is a thought record? A thought record is a 7-column worksheet used to help analyze situations and the moods and the thoughts that are associated with them. And I'll have a full example at the end, but we're going to go through these one at a time. The first column is the situation. Second column is moods. Third column is automatic thoughts and images. Fourth column is evidence that supports the hot thought, which we'll go over what a hot thought is. Fifth column is evidence that does not support the hot thought. Sixth column is alternative and balanced thoughts, and the last column is rating the mood now. Katie, are you saying you've done thought records before? So the first column, the situation. It's just a brief summary of the situation that triggered the strong emotion or emotions. And so you answer who, what, when, and where. Oh, cool, Katie. I'd love to hear any input you have on this then. So this part helps you figure out which aspects of a situation may trigger depression or anxiety or any other, strong negative feelings, whether it's issues with anger management or, anything like that. So an example that the book gives is someone who struggles with anxiety wrote, Sunday evening in the airplane on the runway waiting for the plane to take off in their situation column. And guys, feel free to ask any questions or comments or give any comments while we're going through this at any point in time. Second column is moods. So this is just a description and the ranking of emotions felt during this situation. Excuse me. So you answer, what did you feel? And then rate each mood from 0 to 100%. This helps you identify exactly which emotions you are feeling, the intensity of them, and gives you something to compare to once the thought record activity is complete. So the example used fear, 98%. And what I mean by comparing, once the thought record is complete, is to see if that emotion has decreased and balanced out after you've gone through this whole thought record process. Third column is automatic thoughts or images. So this is basically a verbatim description of the thoughts that went through your head during the situation and or images that popped into your head. So always try to come up with the verbatim description of the thoughts so that it's a lot more accurate. And so an image can be like picturing that something bad is going to happen or remembering a memory or just any sort of image like that. So what was going through your mind just before you started to feel this way? Any other thoughts, images? So this helps you to identify the hot thought or hot thoughts, which are thoughts that elicit the strongest emotional response in the situation. So Katie says her situation was bowling at the start of any game because it's a low score at the start. And so her mood was that she felt defeated or like she sucked. And I think defeated is more the mood, and then thinking I suck is the automatic thought or image, right, Katie? And so the example from the book, some of the thoughts that they use are, I'm feeling sick, my heart is starting to beat harder and faster, I'm starting to sweat, I'm having a heart attack, I'm going to die. So remember, these are all thoughts of someone who suffers from anxiety and they're in an airplane waiting to take off. And notice I made one of those sentences bold, I'm having a heart attack. That's because this in the book was marked as being the person's hot thought, the thought that elicited the strongest emotional response. Next column is evidence that supports the hot thought. So in this column, you want to put objective evidence and facts that support the hot thought. And I bolded and italicized objective because sometimes people are tempted to put things like assumptions or things that they're thinking that they're projecting onto someone else. So if your situation had to do with, you interpreted something someone said as being very hurtful. And so someone might be tempted to put evidence as like, they hate me or they're tired of me or something like that. But if there's no objective evidence, if they haven't said that, if there's no direct, hard proof that they hate you or that they're tired of you, do not put that thought in evidence that supports the hot thought. Only put things that are objective. Dragonate. Dragonate said, so it's like trying to figure out why you have a certain feeling or thought. Yeah, it's getting down to the root cause and helping you to balance that out or look at it from a healthy perspective. So anyway, finding evidence that supports the hot thought may sound counterproductive because, like I said, we're trying to balance out and reduce the strong emotions. So if you're finding evidence that supports the hot thought, you might think, well, that's just going to make things worse, right? But this step is important because it helps you see the situation objectively. Helps you prove to yourself that you're not trying to blindly focus yourself to be positive or force yourself to be positive or to ignore the situation. And so once everything's balanced out, you can really, truly believe the balanced interpretation of the situation. So the example from the book with the person who suffers from anxiety, who's in the airplane and thinks they're having a heart attack. The evidence that supports the hot thought is my heart is racing, I'm sweating, and these are two characteristics of a heart attack, which makes sense, right? But the next column is evidence that does not support the hot thought. So once again, we're looking for objective evidence and facts that do not support the hot thought. And so you should also include examples of similar past experiences in which your hot thought was proven incorrect. So the example from the book, a rapid heartbeat can be characteristic of anxiety. My doctor told me that the heart is a muscle. Using a muscle is not dangerous, and therefore a rapid heartbeat is not dangerous. A rapid heartbeat doesn't mean I am having a heart attack. I've had this happen to me before in airports, on airplanes, and when thinking about flying. In the past, my heartbeat has returned to normal when I read a magazine, practiced deep breathing, did thought records, or thought in non-catastrophic ways. So as you can see, there's a lot more evidence in this situation that does not support the hot thought, as opposed to the evidence that does support the hot thought. So, next column is for the alternative or the balanced thoughts. So you have information to put into this column when your evidence in columns 4 and 5, the evidence columns obviously, does not fully support your original automatic thought. So you write an alternative explanation for the situation. And then you rate how much you believe in each alternative or balanced thought. So the example in the book was, my heart is racing, excuse me, my heart is racing and I am sweating because I'm anxious and nervous about being on an airplane. She believes that about 95%. She can't bring herself to believe it 100%, but 95 is pretty good. And then she also wrote down, my doctor assured me that a rapid heartbeat is not necessarily dangerous, and in all likelihood, my heart will return to normal in just a few minutes. And she only put 85%, but still pretty high up there, that she's able to convince herself of these truths. Lastly, you rate your moods now. So this helps to show you how much the thought record has helped you in this situation. Emotions will rarely drop all the way to 0, but they should weaken considerably and balance out. And from, like the book says, the goal of a thought record is not to eliminate emotions. Instead, the thought record is designed to help you gain a broader perspective on a situation so that your emotional reactions are balanced responses to the total circumstances of your life. And so this person who suffers from anxiety went from 95% fear all the way down to 25% fear after she went through this thought record and found some more balanced alternative thoughts to focus on. So here's the full example thought record with all the columns, and then you just have bullet points for each of the thoughts, each of the evidence. Yeah. Hey, Junie. Glad you're here. So I'll let you guys look at that for a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. We do have a little bit more to go through. Okay, if you need more time on this, feel free to pause or come back to it later. So, there are further steps you should take. Doing a thought record will not solve everything, unfortunately. So, the book says if your thought record was completed properly and your mood did not change, your hot thought may be a core belief, or perhaps your hot thought is accurate. If so, an action plan needs to be developed and implemented before your moods will decrease. So, the book goes on to describe how to change your core beliefs, or if the hot thought is accurate, how to make action plans to change your actual situation. And so I cannot speak to that yet. I haven't gotten to that point in my own therapy yet. But if there's enough interest, we can possibly do some future live streams on how to change your core beliefs and how to make action plans and follow through on them. For now, I suggest that you get the book for yourself. Like I said, the description or the link is in the description. And it looks like on Amazon you can get some used copies pretty cheap. And then also talk to a professional mental health. Talk to a mental health professional, because I and my little tips and tricks that I've learned for myself cannot help you with serious, deep-seated issues, unfortunately. And so, once again, this live stream was just to give you some tips and tricks with how to cope with negative thoughts and emotions as a supplement to professional help, or in the meantime until you can get some professional help. Any questions? Okay, cool. I'm glad you like the presentation style, Nate. Maybe we'll do more of these in the future. I hope this presentation was helpful for everyone who is listening and watching, and for everyone who's watching the video on my channel in the future. Are you using the same book, Katie? Thanks, Morgan. I'm glad it was very helpful. You guys will have to try putting it into action and let me know how much it helps. Hey, Random Acts of Canadian, or Jeff, right? You're catching us right at the end of the stream, unfortunately. Junie, feel free to steal this video. I can send it directly to you and put it on there if you think it would help, or I can redo a shorter video, whichever you think would be more helpful. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of information, so this is a pretty short live stream today. But I'm open to any sort of questions or discussions about anything. That's all right, Jeff. It'll be up on my channel. The full video will be. Sorry to hear that you're sick. I hope you feel better. So, Katie, are you using the Mind Over Mood book? Just curious if you're using the exact same book. That'd be pretty neat. Nate, I don't think I've heard about a cognitive interview before. What is that? We can talk about it. Oh, that sounds interesting. Kind of reminds me vaguely of hypnosis, though I know that's not what it is, but that's the first thing that came to mind when I read that definition. A cognitive interview is where you go through all of your senses when trying to remember something. Oh, it looks like Katie and Shireen just subbed. Thank you very much. Probably should have put music into the live stream to cover up all the awkward silences, but not sure I know how to do that just yet. Maybe next time. Oh wow, memory loss. Is it like did you lose memory of like a certain period of time, or is it like a consistent issue? Well, if we don't have any more anything so if we don't have anything else to discuss, I think I should go ahead and end the live stream here so that the video on my post on my channel the video that I post on my channel won't be too long with tons of awkward silence at the end. Any last comments? That's interesting, Jeff. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this up then. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to steal this video if you know of anywhere that, or anyone that you think would benefit from this. And I hope you all have a great day. Okay, cool, Junie. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.